The first official reviews have come out for Matt Reeves The Batman, and so far, it is being hailed as a fantastic Batman film. There have been lots of reactions following the world premiere in London, leading into the early fan screenings tomorrow, and I'm going to be breaking down all of it in this video. But before I get into all the reviews, if you want to see loads of content on The Batman when it releases this week, then don't forget to support this video by giving it a like rating, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your notifications. Also, feel free to check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram at Cortex Videos, which is all linked in the description below. But without further ado, let's discuss the official reviews and reactions for The Batman 2022. So the reviews for Matt Reeves The Batman are right now extremely positive, with many critics praising the director's latest film and approach. Now, of course, it's key to stress that the only review that matters is your own one, but these reviews can serve as a good method of hype leading into the film, whether it be aiding the box office or just added excitement. And so far, this could be the case, as The Batman is getting glowing reactions from the biggest critics and fans who have already seen the film. But what are they saying, and what are the main points many of them bring up? Well, there are a lot of positive reviews, and many of them claim that fans can expect to love the film. To begin with, early praise included segments from MTV Movies' Hannah Flight, who declared that Matt Reeves delivers a nail-biting, gritty, and fun Batman coming-of-age story. Other points that have been used to describe the film include Unilad stating that it's absolutely euphoric, Total Film claiming that it's sensational, and Empire saying that it's gripping. And Insider added the bold claim that Pattinson will be your new favourite Batman. But when getting into some of the bigger details, we start to learn what elements seem to be standing out in the new Reeves film. Starting with Robert Pattinson's performance as the Caped Crusader, it seems that the early snarky Twilight comments are about to be flung out the window, as pretty much every review I've read has said that he's one of the best Batman performances we've ever seen. Pete Hammond of Deadline said, "Bruce is a torn, psychologically scarred figure here, wandering around Gotham City, trying to wreak vengeance on criminals, but not sure what he is. Pattinson embodies the character perfectly." Discussing Film added on Pattinson's take that the Caped Crusader's complexity is expressed in a slew of ways, from tamed narration to flashes of unhinged violence, as he pummels his foes to the ground. Pattinson doesn't say much, apart from the necessary revelation talk in his investigation. It's a very subtle approach that takes viewers on a quite impressive journey with the character in terms of emotional growth. The Batman ultimately is about Bruce Wayne's path to finding true meaning in his calling as a vigilante. And even The Guardian, who gave it a somewhat solid 3-star review, said that Pattinson's performance elevates the whole thing, even though they had gripes about the runtime. IGN, who gave the film a glowing 10 out of 10, gave a bit more on his performance and claimed that Pattinson is playing a much more vulnerable, human version of the orphaned billionaire than we've ever seen before. With a role so iconic, it would have been easy to crib from the many actors who came before him, but Pattinson makes Bruce his own entirely. Gone is the convincing illusion of a charismatic playboy we've seen in past iterations. Here we get a sad weirdo who's both crippled and compelled by his unresolved trauma in a way that's gripping to watch. This Bruce is a broken man, unable to hide his emotions even under the cowl. Pattinson's performance, in turn, is crushingly painful, whether he's in or out of the Batsuit. So, according to these reviews, Pattinson seems to have nailed the type of Batman Reeves wanted, one that is not all there yet and coming into his own and dealing with his inner truth. Now, coming to the other performances, IGN added that they are actually some of the stronger elements of this iteration. They said, Pattinson's performance isn't even the second most memorable of the Batman. Those honours go to Zoë Kravitz and Paul Dano as Selina Kyle and the Riddler. The former struck me as an inspired casting from the get-go, but Kravitz's layered portrayal of the cat burglar clawed past even my high expectations. She's got all the slinkiness and slyness you could hope for, but like Pattinson's Bruce, she's also incredibly vulnerable, while selling an insatiable need for revenge. Pattinson may be the one screaming "I am vengeance," but it's Kravitz who simmers with a need for payback. Plus, the two actors' chemistry is undeniable. Now, I haven't heard this be the case with all the reviews, but I will say that some of the points raised about Kravitz seem to be in line with the praise here. It's definitely an aspect now that gets me excited to see all the supporting players. And speaking of another performance, they add to how the Riddler's shared time with Batman is mesmerizing. They continued stating, as for Dano, his Riddler is easily the best live-action Batman villain since Heath Ledger's Joker. This is a far cry from the previous most famous Riddler performance by Jim Carrey, with Reeves putting a modern murderous spin on the wordsmith that's heavily influenced by the real-world Zodiac killer. Dano sinks into his unhinged yet genius killer with terrifying realism. Seriously, Dano managed to give me chills with a single eye movement in one scene. The best Batman villains are the ones who challenge at least two of the three of his mind, morals, and body, and this Riddler puts the first two to the test. Whenever Pattinson and Dano face off, it's impossible to look away. So big words, but I guess we'll see how that holds up in a few days' time, and it gets me particularly intrigued to see how they go about Selina Kyle's deep connection to everything going on, whether it's in line with what we predicted beforehand, and also if Riddler really becomes this iconic psychological threat that we love from a Batman film. Many of the reviewers seem to be praising his performance, so we'll just have to see. Coming now to some of the reactions on the direction and production aspects of the film, there's a lot of exciting claims, including one by Brian Tallarico of Roger Ebert saying, Matt Reeves brings his vision to the Batman and delivers the best work of his career, an intense, riveting piece of big-budget filmmaking, directed in a way that echoes everything from Seven to Chinatown, but also feels blindingly new. IGN also added, the Batman stands on its own, but it's still dripping with cinematic references. Among the movies I thought about while watching, Zodiac, Seven, Chinatown, and Saw. Its gritty realism is most similar to Christopher Nolan's trilogy, but this is a refreshingly bold new cinematic take on The Dark Knight. And when it comes to production notes, they definitely stood out too, with David Rooney of The Hollywood Reporter discussing the soundtrack. Its visceral use of sound is key to the film's immersive effect, but even more so an absolute banger of a score by Michael Giacchino. The symphonic underlay might have seemed excessive in less confident hands, but the graceful incorporation of specific themes for Batman and Selina, as well as pre-existing music ranging from classical pieces to Nirvana, provides tonal variation to ensure that the Batman never becomes a punishing downer. And they add one note on something we all expected, and that's that Greg Fraser's cinematography is a standout. They say, on the heels of Greg Fraser's spectacular work on Dune, the cinematographer gives the film a moody look to match the tortured pit of Batman's soul, and production designer James Chinlan's world building is first rate, weaving together elements from real cities and sets to form a Gotham that resembles New York while establishing its own gritty Gothic identity, pulsing with menace and mystery. The one aspect that has created slightly mixed reviews, however, is mainly focused on the runtime. Some think it's too long, as this has been quoted by some reviews that I personally trust, while others say that the runtime is perfect for the kind of film Reeves made. The positives come from Stephen Weintraub of Collider, who said, it's unlike any Batman movie you've ever seen. The 3-hour runtime allows scenes to breathe, no quick cuts, no wasted moments. The film pulls you in from the opening scene and doesn't let go until the final credits play. I cannot recommend this film enough. And David Groh from Den of Geek said, "The Batman's running time mostly acts as one of its greatest assets. Here is a superhero movie that is deliberately paced and takes its time to live with its characters and the tangled web they weave through the city." Minus a few obligatory scenes of Pattinson's bleary eyes being unhooded from his mask, revealing a 1,000-yard stare and smeared makeup worthy of the grunge music on the soundtrack, there is no real Bruce Wayne scene, as in Bruce going out in public for the first whole hour. Whereas The Guardian says it's overlong, and Kevin McCarthy of Fox says, with 30 minutes shorter, it would have elevated the film. So what this seems like is that the runtime may work for some and not for others. You know that I myself love longer films as long as it uses every minute of that runtime, so it will be interesting to see how the audience reacts to this and what they individually think about it too. But apart from that gripe, I haven't seen too much that really drags this down. Most reviews are extremely positive, and getting this kind of praise from critics is only going to entice the undecided audience to check it out. The final few points to add from the reviews are what has been said in conclusion regarding this new take, and that it's a detective movie through and through. Den of Geek gave the film a 4.5 out of 5 and said it's one of the best comic book films of all time, adding, "After a superhero film this extraordinarily satisfying and this determined to have something new to say about Bruce Wayne and our own world by extension, the anticipation for what comes next will be immense." Peter Canavise of Groucho Reviews said that while retaining requisite elements of blockbuster action cinema, decidedly shifts the focus to Pulp Fiction, The Batman feels more like a Batman story than a Batman movie, and that's an achievement in itself. The Hollywood Reporter also concluded, saying that Reeves delivers a lot of movie. Does it stretch the definition of escapism to immerse ourselves in a fiction so reflective of the toxic cynicism that pervades our 21st century reality? Perhaps, but this glowering study in crime and punishment is meticulously crafted, vividly inhabited storytelling with a coherent, thought-through vision, and that makes for muscular entertainment. Deadline's Hammond used strong words that it's a winner, a detective movie for the ages, and deserves to be placed right alongside The Dark Knight. It focuses on character over action, and it's more of a classic noir detective story. So this is pretty huge in terms of early reviews and scores, and it will be interesting to see whether it goes more in the direction of the positive in the coming days, especially when looking at the audiences. It currently has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes with 71 reviews and a 73 Metascore, which is pretty strong considering that that site gives you an average scores on all the reviews. So far, it's all positive, but primarily, I'm just ready to see the film myself and see what lies in store for Matt Reeves' new iteration of The Dark Knight. But they were the first official reviews for Matt Reeves' The Batman. Like I said before, everyone's individual reaction is the most important, and a review aggregator or score shouldn't really change that. But with all these positive reviews coming out, there's nothing wrong with a bit of excitement, especially with many, including myself, really anticipating this film for the last few years. The reviews so far are extremely positive, and they stress on many of the points that I was excited for, but also ones that I didn't expect to. However, at the end of the day, it's down to the audience whether this really is a win, and we will soon see what the consensus is once everyone has seen the film later this week. I myself will be seeing it in the next few days, and I will be giving you all my thoughts here on the channel. I will also be covering the film in depth with breakdowns, so make sure you keep a lookout for whenever I post. But let me know down below in the comment section what you personally think towards the reviews and reactions, alongside whether it gets you even more hyped for the release of the film in the next few days. For much more videos and news on the Batman, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.